Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How is everyone?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. This is one of those days since this morning. Since this morning, I've been having technical issues. So, it's-
Don't feel bad. I've had them too.
here. It's like, right, something simple like turning off the telephone is, yeah, it's not unbelievable. 1 second. You ever had one of those days when nothing is as it should be? You're so accustomed to coming in and everything is set like it's supposed to be. And all of a sudden, nothing is as it was. And it kind of gets to you. So get this sharing going here. This is another one. Now, where's my presentation? That's not where it's supposed to be. Where did it go? Okay. Wow. Unbelievable. Good morning. Salaam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
I hope everybody is in the best of spirits and the best of health and well-being. You know, we're going to pray and ask Allah to strengthen our minds and our bodies and keep us ever mindful of our mission here today, which is to keep our health and well-being first and foremost in our minds as we proceed to present information and give you information that will hopefully keep you on the right track towards getting healthy. And some of you are saying, I'm already healthy, so breathing and walking and eating, and I can eat what I want and do what I want. So therefore, I'm healthy, right? a definition of being healthy. Inshallah, mashallah, that's a good definition. And I'm glad everybody, if you think that way, I'm glad that you would think that way. But there's always more. There's always that degree beyond which you're already at that all of us should be striving for, because I don't think any of us are at that level of perfection where we feel as though we are exactly where we want to be and we're doing what we want to be and doing what we want to do. Hold on one second. I hear the hose washer. Told you it was one of those days where the little things, maybe it's me, maybe it's me, and inshallah, hopefully it is me. But anyway, we're here. And we're picking up where we left off last week, where we were talking about that this 30-day health reawakening that we're embarking upon. And the purpose of it is to reawaken those aspects of our lives, our health, and get us to a higher level of health. If we're at a level and we're all healthy, and I don't think anybody is bedridden or anything like that, but to get to the next level of where we want to go to is what we're trying to do today. So let's see if we can get some things moving here. We talked about 4 paths to wellness. There are many more than 4, of course, but we are talking about 4 that I've decided or determined to be of the ones that are there. I would say the ones that are achievable, are doable. And probably all of them are doable to a certain extent. Certainly if you wanted to be carnivore, and we all know what carnivore means, right? We're eating nothing but meat all day, 3 and 4 times a day. Meat. And some people are raving about that. I don't particularly think that carnivorism is a means that we should pursue. Just as I don't think that, say, being a total vegetarian is one that I personally, I'm not saying that for anyone else. I'm saying that for me personally, vegetarianism, vegetarianism is not one that is personally for me. All total vegetarianism, extreme vegetarianism, to eat vegetables on a regular basis as being my main meal, I can deal with that. I've had some very, very good vegetarian meals with good protein built into it. If a well-designed vegetarian meal can do everything that you would want it to do. It's loaded with nutrition. But personally, I don't see myself living every day as a vegetarian. That's just something that I don't see. On the Mediterranean diet, on the other hand, I could see living with the Mediterranean eating style 24/7, because it has everything there. It's not limiting you any one thing out of the way. It says maybe red meat, don't eat a lot of that, but that's not, if I wanted to eat red meat, I'm going to eat red meat. If I wanted to eat, seafood or whatever, Mediterranean gives you choices. It doesn't really take very much stuff off the table. And also eat sugar if you wanted to. I mean, none of them particularly, except for, say, the keto way of eating, particularly limits sugar. I think sugar should be limited. That's my personal choice because of my experiences. I don't trying to get as much out of my diet as I can. Though I know I can't do it totally. Yes, the extremism of it, the pastries and the extreme things that I'm choosing not to do because I know the dangers in that. And I can say in my lifetime, I've eaten as much sweet stuff, cakes and pies and all of that as I think I could do with for the rest of my life. But will I say I'll never eat a piece of cake or I'll never eat a piece of pie again? No, I'll never do that. I don't think that's prudent for me to say that. But I choose and be very cautious about what I eat on a regular basis, and I limit the amount of that kind of food because I know the dangers that lie within it. And enough said on that. So this is the 4 paths that we are talking about. This week we are into the keto phase of it. We started out with the sardine challenge, 3 days of eating nothing but sardines, which was a kind of a keto, but really it was a method of getting our body in order, getting our body to respond to things the way in which they ought to respond to them. To respond, and particularly what I'm talking about is responding to glucose. Because over the years, we've eaten so much sugar, carbohydrates that have converted into sugar, that our bodies can no longer respond correctly to them, to sugar. And it overproduces insulin. And when it overproduces insulin, that insulin stays and it goes places and it does things that it is not healthy for us to do. The insulin's only role, as I said before, was to take glucose from the bloodstream and put it somewhere. And most of the time it puts it in the liver. But often, I shouldn't say most of the time it puts it in the liver, it puts it wherever it thinks it needs it. And a lot of times it puts it into the fat. It hides the glucose or gives the glucose to the fat cells. And the fat cells use it to multiply themselves with. So fat begets fat begets fat in the presence of sugar, in the presence of fructose, sugar in particular, but glucose as well. It doesn't discriminate between one and the other. It's going to take both of them and do something with it. So the purpose of the sardine challenge was to get your bodies to be able to recognize sugar again and treat it the way in which it was supposed to. Now, 3 days is a very small amount of time to do that, but it did, get you off of it for a few minutes and allowed you, again, for those that really followed a strict interpretation of it, it allowed your body not to produce glucose, because there should have been no glucose around for it to need to do anything. So when the glucose has been properly dealt with in the body, and it's not in your bloodstream, and it's not circulating around, causing problems with you, or providing energy to you as well, then your body responds naturally to it. So when it sees the sugar, it goes up and then it comes down. It goes up. And when you eat something, carbs or sugary things, it goes up. And then when you have eaten enough, then that glucose will come down because insulin is taking all of that glucose and hiding it somewhere or putting it somewhere. So the purpose of the 3-day sardine challenge was to clear your body out of sugar and allow you to get back to where you should be at again. It's a house cleaning maneuver, body cleaning maneuver. It was a good source of high quality protein. It was loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3 is one of those acid things that the body needs. It needs to have it because if it didn't have omega-3, it would take that omega-6, which is the bad guy, and utilize it. So the omega-3 is what the joints need, the body needs, the skin needs, the cartilage, the muscle. All omega is a very important nutrient to have, and you get it from your diet because the body can't make it. And if you don't get it from your diet, then you should be taking it in from some other means. Some other means, like taking chia seed in water or something, or juice or milk, or however you choose to do it, or some flaxseed. But if I don't care how you do it, you need to have omega-3s on a regular basis. Now, so one of the sisters last week questioned me about taking things every day. And some things may not be needed to take every day because the body can get along without them. And if you can switch things up, maybe with your magnesium, which you need that every day too. But if you didn't take it one day, it was no big deal. If you take it the next day, then you're back on board. Vitamin D, the same thing. If you didn't take it today, as long as you got some sun or something like that, you will be okay. Calcium, those things, if you don't get them today, one day you didn't have it's not a loss. But omega-3 is something that you should be taking in every day. It's one of those nutrients that you should have every day. And most people don't take it every day, so I understand that. I'm making you aware that omega-3s are something that you need to figure out a way to include it in your diet and take it on a regular basis, because if you do not, then you're looking for problems with your health at some point later on when you start to get those aches from arthritis that has been allowed to proliferate, the inflammation has been allowed to proliferate and do things to your body. Had omega-3s been on board, it would have suppressed some of that. It would have stymied some of that inflammation, because that's one of the purposes of it. It is anti-inflammatory. So you need to incorporate it into your diet. And if you haven't been doing it all along until now, then as of today, consider it an order from me, and an order from Dr. Jamil to our brother Jamil. Consider it an order to go out and figure out a way to get omega-3s into your diet every day. Every day, because it's just that important. I'm sure you're not going to eat sardines every day, but that's one of the ways you could do it, and you wouldn't have to worry about that. But again, the options are the chia seeds or the flax seeds or salmon, fish, mackerel, some of the fatty fish is where you get heavy doses of omega-3 fatty acids from. In some foods, you get it as well, but you probably won't. Well, you have to figure it out. Can give you a list of where you can get it from, but you have to figure out how you can incorporate that into your diet every day. The sardine challenge helps you to help the weight. Some people lost weight. I lost weight doing it. And I categorize it as being water weight. I don't know, but the weight did come off. And I'm sure some of you did experience some weight loss as well. It promotes heart health. Well, I can't really see that. I just have to take their word for it that it did do that for me. But literature suggests that if you take omega-3s or eating sardines every day, then it's going to benefit your heart. Ease on digestion. Well, that one is kind of in the air because one of the sisters commented that whenever she eats our sardines, that she gets indigestion. And if I eat sardines without the skin on them, I will get indigestion. But if I eat the ones with the skin on them, I don't get indigestion. I wonder what's that about. I have no idea, but that phenomenon does seem to exist. And it is what it is. For me, this 3-day challenge wasn't just about the sardine. It was about really a group of people coming together, deciding on doing something about their health that's going to take it up a notch to a higher level. And if somebody has said, well, sardines, I don't like sardines. Well, I think I did give you the option of saying boil eggs. Eat boiled eggs instead of sardines, because this protein, it'll get you to the same point. I don't know if anybody did that. The other option would have been to eat tuna. I didn't think about that one before, but that would have been an option for some. I don't eat a lot of tuna on a regular basis, but for 3 days, within that narrow window of opportunity, it would have been okay. But probably go on a strike of eating it for a month. But most of you don't eat tuna every day anyway. I haven't eaten tuna in like maybe a month. So it's not favorite food. It's not that it's not favorite, but it's just not in my eating menu on a regular basis. But it's good. I've done nice tuna salad with the right trimmings and everything. Gives you a nice meal. A tuna salad with added to a regular tossed salad and everything. Gives you a nice meal with protein and other aspects. The sardines had anti-inflammatory properties because of the omega-3s. So if you did it, you got the benefit of having that. And because of the ketosis that all of this generated, all of these proteins and fats and everything should have put you into ketosis. And I was in ketosis. I tested myself, and I know that I was there because my body produced ketones, and I can measure it. And one of the sisters had some ketone sticks, and it was dark purple. It says she was in ketosis. And that was the goal, is to get into ketosis, to feel the benefit, to feel the anti-inflammatory effects of being in ketosis, the pain that you would have in your knees and your joints and your back would not be as present. For me, I've been for the past 3 months suffering from sciatica and a problem with my right hip, but then all of a sudden my left calf muscle started to ache. And since I've been doing the turmeric shots in the morning, I have a turmeric concoction that I made up. So I drink one of those in the morning. And the, what do you call it? The MSM, which is a medication, not a medication, but an herb that you take for joint conditions. And the being on the keto has taken away my pain. I have no pain in my hip, my joint, anywhere. I go out for walking I'm going to go out for walks. I'm up to 2 kilometers now, which is about 1.5 miles. And I'm able to do that. And I feel good when I have done that. So I feel the benefit of all of this collectively, not in, maybe not any one thing, but I like to think that eating the omega-3s, and I also take omega-3s every day as well. But because of all of that, I don't have any pain. I do not, and I say this with all honesty and sincerity, that I do not have any bodily pain today, thank Allah. So. Last week I sent out something about how the body replaces itself. Some things replace itself on a like weekly basis. Some things replace themselves on a monthly basis, and some have other schedules. But the body is constantly in a state of repair and reprocessing. Repair and reprocessing. And that was one of the other aspects of the ketosis, is that or the sardine challenge, is that it puts you in a state of autophagy, which is when, again, you have to be in ketosis for you to get to the state of autophagy, where the body is taking all of the bad cells, the damaged cells, the cells that are of no use anymore, and dispenses of them. Some of them it dumps into the lymphatic system. And as a result of that, sometimes the lymphatic system gets sluggish. It doesn't flow like it's supposed to be. It's not doing its job like it's supposed to do it. And as a result, we can get sick from that. That's why we went through that whole week on the lymphatic system. So you got to know your lymphatic system, and that you can begin to massage your body, massage yourself, and get the lymphatic fluid moving again. Because if it doesn't, then you're setting yourself up for a disaster. And we don't need disasters in our life. We want to be able to function and go about life. We don't need major setbacks because of something that is so simple. The lymphatic system gets clogged up. It's not flowing like it's supposed to, because we're not moving. So if we don't move, the lymphatic system doesn't feel as though it has to move. So we need to move it manually by ourselves, by massaging, in different parts of our bodies, under our arms. You got lymph glands under your arm, and sometimes you reach under there and touch it like it hurts. You feel the lymph. That means that lymph node is backed up. It's tender. You need to clean, get things moving like it's supposed to. And these are basic things. It's not costing you anything. Touch yourself, move the fluid, get it going. If you can't get up and move and walk around and run and jump and do all those kind of things, then just sit at home and massage your body. Get the lymph stuff moving. Clean out your system. So the skin cells, let's talk about the intestinal, your gut. Your gut, every 5 days, you got a new gut. The cells lining your new gut are replaced. Okay? So you ought to be eating things on a regular basis that's going to rebuild your gut, to give you a good gut that things are not going to leak out of. You heard that term called leaky gut? It really means that. Your gut has got holes in it, and stuff can crawl out of your intestines into your body. And when that happens, your immune system looks at that thing and says, "You're not supposed to be here," and they rush to deal with it. They will rush to render that thing that has come out of your gut into your interstitial space, and it'll render it neutral. But where does it go? Once it neutralizes it, where does it go? Well, there are certain cells that are supposed to take that thing and take it and put it into your lymphatic system. That's your garbage system in your body, the garbage disposal system. Your sewer system is your lymphatic system. So all of this debris gets dumped into that. So your food, your health, your nutrition should be designed or focused on building your gut on cells on a weekly basis. So you should be eating good salads and good nutrition, good everything. So you're giving it a good foundation to build. Your stomach lining, because of the acid that is being constantly produced, gets rebuilt. It needs to be rebuilt. So that's you need to give it nutrition for that. We don't tend to think of nutrition for our stomach, but all of that turmeric and ginger and garlic, onions, green stuff, salads, all of that helps to rebuild your body and give you a good constitution, as we used to call it. Your blood cells are rebuilt every 3 months. Every 3 months, you got to, I won't say on a 3-month thing. That's not like every 3 months, you can set your watch by it. You got new blood supply. But blood cells have a 120-day life. And at the end of 120 days, about that, some less, some maybe a little bit longer, then they need to be gotten rid of. And that's, again, the lymphatic system. All those old red blood cells, many of them get deposited into your lymphatic. Some go through your gut out that way, but many of them are dispensed out through the lymphatic system. Your skin cells, that's every month, basically, you got a new skin. Have you ever cut yourself and you saw how the healing takes place? And pretty soon, you don't see the scar anymore because the body will replenish. Every 30 days, you get a new skin. Every 5 days, 6 days, every week, basically, you get a new gut. So giving it all of the good things that it needs to build on, to build a good you on, renewing, okay, health renewal. You're renewing your body with the right things, with the good things that it needs to have. Of course, regular medical checkups are important. Going to see the doctor and getting him to do types of blood work on you and whatever's needed are important to have. Now, most of us go for our annual checkup where he does what he normally does, EKG, blood work, urine, if not, again, that's the normal stuff. If something is wrong, he might send you for an X-ray or an MRI or something in order to see what's going on. Of course, he checks your blood pressure, and the A1C is, most of us at this stage in our life, and cholesterol, those are important to have. We ought to know what our A1C is. Everyone here ought to know what their last A1C is. And that's not something I actually go, no, I mean, they have no idea because, the doctor probably did it because, most of the older group like us are diabetic or, type 2, borderline, pre-diabetic. We're all in that category somewhere. Most of us, maybe very few of us may not be. Alhamdulillah, bless you if you're not. But this is where that regular medical checkup for the doctor comes in at. But every day of your life, you should be dealing with that. It's not his job, per se, to do. His job is to see and say, you need to do this or do that or the other. And most of the time, all of the years that I've been going to doctors, and that's been a lot of years, they've never said to me, watch the sugar you're eating, watch the bread you're eating, watch the, whatever. They don't do that. Has anyone had a doctor to tell them to watch the sugar they're eating or anything like that? No? Somebody must say yes. Yes? All right.
Doctor was
Nutrition
like a
management.
naturopathic.
Naturopathic?
Yeah, he was a naturopathic oncologist.
Oh, okay.
And he definitely made me aware of the sugars.
That's an unusual doctor. He's not a regular medical doctor.
No.
I'm talking about the guys that are part of the AMA that we go to. And because they look at them like they're gods. Whenever they tell us something, we just go in awe. Wow. I'm so, Mr. So-and-so, you're good. Oh yeah, then why do I feel so bad? If I'm good, then why do I feel so bad? They can't answer that. But many of us have been prescribed things by the medical establishment. And we're supposed to be taking them on a daily basis. And we choose, well, my blood pressure is okay. I don't need to have my med for my blood pressure today. It's good. I feel good. As a matter of fact, I'm planning not to take that stuff anymore anyway, because I don't trust him. I just, No, I'll say that about statins. I mean, I've had any number of doctors to write a prescription for me for statins. And I have, I did take them once, maybe, took the pills once or twice, but I've never taken them on a regular basis. And I just stopped doing it because statins is not something that you need to have if your cholesterol is high, only if your cholesterol is high, but they are obligated, they are required to write a prescription for you if you have an abnormal cholesterol. By law, by their medical society, they can lose their license if they let you go out of the office without having a prescription for a statin for your elevated cholesterol.
Mm.
So we
That's
need
it.
to. Mhm.
So that was interesting because I was going to ask you about that.
It's true. There's no question about that. They may not own up to it, but the sister that has the medical oncologist or the naturopathic oncologist, she can ask him and say,
Because
yeah.
I was going to ask you about coming off of it. How does
Coming
one
off of
just stop taking it?
Of statins.
How did you just stop taking statins?
You said you're asking how do you stop taking them?
Yeah, like for an example, my total cholesterol is 165.
Mm-hmm.
My triglyceride, which is 72. My HDL is 75. And my LDL is also 75.
But a cholesterol of 155 is normal. Why would you need to take statins? I mean, maybe when he gave it to you, it was more like 190, 200.
Let me see. In February 2022, my total cholesterol was sort of high. It was like, I'm looking at my chart, from Connect. It was like almost 250.
Okay, that's high.
The total. In July 23, it was like 150.
150.
Yeah. So it seemed like it, and then in November 24 is 160 something. I'm looking at the chart, but the way the chart is going, I can't be specific.
Yes.
But I'm thinking in 22, kind of think of it, in 22 December, that's when I had to have the angiogram because my artery was clogged.
Yes.
And prior to that, I wasn't having any problems, but you remember I was diagnosing myself.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that can be a dangerous thing sometimes.
yes, because I was assuming, because I was having breathing problems, but I was assuming that I was having asthma. Not that I've actually been diagnosed with asthma, but only because it runs in my family, and I always had chronic bronchitis. I had that for quite a few years, but my daughter, I was complaining about my breathing, so my doctor told me I need to go. I should make an appointment with a cardiologist or pulmonary doctors. I said, okay, I'll try the cardiologist. And they gave me an MRI. And immediately they started scheduling me for treatment.
That was an MRI with a calcium a coronary attachment to it, where they can see the blockage in your arteries.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Know what I'm looking at? Going back to the beginning of 22. I guess my doctor should have maybe said something because I'm looking at February 22. It was 241, and in June it was 260. In September
Okay.
261.
Okay.
In December is when I had when I had the problem. Then that January
Okay.
down to 23, it went down to 138.
Okay.
But
And they'll
June,
probably say the statins is what did that, or
hmm?
statins are what's doing that,
And then
keeping your cholesterol in the normal range. They'll say the statins are what's doing it.
I don't know.
Well, that's usually what the doctor will say. If you stop taking the statins and then your cholesterol goes up, then they'll say, well, see, I mean, we told you, you should take those things.
Well,
Um,
actually, in January of 38, 23, excuse me, June of 23 is it was 192.
mhm.
But even they
June
say
of 23.
the normal range they say is like 200.
They've dropped it down now to like 180 is normal. Anything above 180 is abnormal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're constantly lowering the normal range for cholesterol. But
Okay.
anyway,
I know they keep changing things,
yes,
and they changed the lab that they were using or the method they were using to test, and I think it made things higher.
yes, yes, that will happen.
Yeah. But I'd
Yes.
say for most part this whole year of 24 and the end of for the whole year 24 it's been under 180. 155,
Mhm.
149, 156, 172. So at what point should that's come off of this Lipitor thing?
We need to discuss that because there are a lot of things can't just do it. There are a lot of things that need to be in place when you do that because uh, the cholesterol that's floating around needs to be. It's not the cholesterol per se. It absolutely is not the cholesterol that's the problem. The problem is how your body is handling calcium. Okay, cholesterol is going to be there. Your body needs cholesterol for estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all of the hormones that the body has are made up from the cholesterol that the body produces. Not the cholesterol that you're eating externally, but what the body produces. So to come off of it, I would say we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about that.
Okay.
That's not
Yeah.
not as easy as I'm making it sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could come
Um,
off of it for 2 or 3 months. Would that tell me anything?
if you could change your diet and your way of eating so that whatever you're taking in is not adding to the problem, then yeah, there are things that you can do. But if you haven't changed your diet and added supplements to it that are going to keep your cholesterol in check and take and the calcium that your body is producing or you're taking in through the food that it's not being told what to do by having the right things on board to do that. You know, it's a balancing act. You got to make sure everything is in place. And you know, I don't want to say something. You know, I don't
I
want to
know.
play doctor here, medical doctor here, because it's you know, I mean, your lives are depending on it. So I want to make sure if I were to say something that it's of value, and that this is something that's particularly to you, and maybe not to someone else.
Okay, anyway, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
I don't want
All
to
right.
take up all the time.
Okay. But
I said,
get checked out, so you know where you are. You know where you stand. If a man hasn't had a prostate exam recently, and you know, some people say the PSA test is, you know, the way to go. I mean, the PSA test has its value. It has its place in determining your health and well-being about your prostate. But it's not the only thing that needs to be done. You know, I mean, it's, you know, most Black men don't like to have a doctor sticking their finger up your butt to test to feel your prostate. But that's a part of it, because sometimes the prostate is swollen. And the only way they can tell whether it's swollen, your PSA can be okay. But the swollen prostate could be from other things that are going on within your body.
mm-hmm.
So we need to be checked out, and like women also need to have that breast exam. I don't know what the frequency is nowadays of whether it's an annual thing you need to get done, or 2 years, or 4 years, or whatever. But
Usually,
huh?
may I ask you something about the men with the prostate? I got all these grandsons. At what age should they start having the exam?
I would say in their 40s, in their early 40s.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I'll suggest that to the
Yeah.
guy.
You know, and again, I think that's a pretty fair guess. I had mine done when I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
And again, if the early, this is the kind of thing that you get it early, you're good. Your chances of survival are much better. But if you wait, if you don't take it serious, the frequency, like getting up at night 2 or 3 times at night to go to the bathroom, you know, that urgency to have to go to the bathroom, those are signs that something is wrong with your prostate. My first suggestion would be to men to jump on the zinc. You probably haven't been taking it. And if you haven't been taking it, you haven't been taking it on a regular basis. And you need the zinc. Any man that, I mean, you get rid of zinc. Whenever you ejaculate, you're releasing zinc in your seminal fluid. So when you do it to the point where the prostate or the seminal vesicles in the prostate get affected by it, then it's because the zinc level is low. So if you're taking your zinc, keeping it at the right level, you know, on a regular basis, from the time you're in your 40s, stay on your zinc, or eating the vegetables and the green stuff and all of the stuff that you need to keep it in check. You don't want to deal with that. Yeah, I mean, prostate cancer is bad news. It is. Just like breast cancer in women is. It's bad news. And it's something you can check. It takes about 10 years from the time that not even this little thing that they can see, like the size, it looks like the size of a pinhead, peanut maybe, but that thing has been growing for about 10 years by the time they can see it on an x-ray. So these things are dealt with every day of your life. Every Black male, white male, male should know that. Eventually, the health or the nutrition that they're having is setting them up for some type of cancer. And prostate is one of the common ones because it's related to things that you do and what you eat. And of course, a woman should also get a pap smear. I don't know what the frequency is for that, but everyone ought to know when they had their last one, and if it was okay, they're good to go.
I think the breast cancer that you should, I go every year, but after you reach a certain age, doctors seem, as far as pap smear test is concerned, doctors
Yes.
seem to feel that you don't need it after, I don't know, maybe 70, 65 or 70, something like that.
Yeah, it's something like the estrogen, your estrogen levels decrease. And that there are some hormonal things that are tied in with it, so therefore you don't need to have it done. But it's that's younger women should have had that, and they should know what it is. And I guess when you get to that stage in life when you don't need to have it done, then that's good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I used to have that done yearly. I always did everything yearly, so.
variety of things is important. The variety of supplements, the variety of nutrients, the variety of foods. This is what we're talking about now, the healthy fats, the different kinds of healthy fats, the avocado and oils and the nuts that you should be eating on a regular basis, seed oils, the chia seeds and the flax seeds and pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds and all of those good things that help the body give it good, sound nutrients that help you. Pumpkin seeds on a regular basis. Pumpkin seeds have zinc in them. So men should be eating pumpkin seeds, almost have a dose of pumpkin seeds every day. It won't hurt. It's good stuff. Variety of proteins included in your diet, the chicken, the beef, fish, seafood, plant-based options, tofu. I don't know if a lot of people eat a lot of tofu and tempeh and that kind of stuff. A lot of certainly African Americans and men and women don't do a lot of tofu. I haven't eaten tofu in a long time. Didn't particularly care for it when I was eating it, but I ate it, and I've had some very nice dishes made out of tofu, and it's good. And a variety of vegetables. This is really what you should be. All of the colors of the spectrum of things in the vegetable kingdom, you should be eating them. Don't just get on one thing and stay on one thing. You should be covering the spectrum, the rainbow. Meat and more meat. This is what I've been talking about for mainly protein. You need your protein, people. You need to get your protein in. You need to get your protein levels up from where they are so that you aren't feeling tired and achy and not feeling like you should be feeling today. Because a lot of times it's just because you are deficient in protein. You're deficient. So you need to make sure every day, and I've been trying to emphasize this, for a while now, to get options. You got different ways of being able to do that. So get your protein in. And here's my menu. I sent this out last week for everyone to look at. So if you ate a piece of chicken breast, a 3-ounce piece, which sure if everybody eats maybe 1 3-ounce piece of chicken breast, somebody might eat today, and that gives you about 26 grams of protein. So if you had 2 eggs in the morning, you had about 12 grams of protein. An avocado gives you another 15, I think, grams, 12, 15 grams of protein. And that's you need to figure it out. That's why the chart, I sent the chart out for you to use so you know what you're doing. You can't do this blindly. You cannot just go about every day as though you aren't taking that into consideration, because one day when you've cheated yourself out of enough protein, your body is going to say, look, you're not going to do me like that. I'm going to stop you. You're going to sit down and lay down for a while because your body doesn't have enough protein. And this is a problem a lot of vegetarians have. They run into problems with deficits in protein. And they might be doing fine. They're eating all of this good stuff, and they were eating their beans and, I eat a lot of beans and I get plenty of beans, but are you getting enough protein that's satisfying your need? To eat enough beans to give you, let's say, black beans cooked, 50, a cup of them, a cup is only 15 grams of protein. So are you eating 3 cups a day? That's 45. So that might be, part of the battle. But if you are not eating, the beans, black beans or whatever beans you're saying, all of them about the same, along with some peanut butter. Somebody said peanut butter gives you like 6 grams of protein for an ounce. Also, peanut butter is a lot. That's a lot of peanut butter. Maybe 4 tablespoons of peanut butter gives you an ounce. So are you eating 4 tablespoons of peanut butter to get that, 6 ounces, 6 grams? Almond butter is about the same, 6 or 7 grams. They're all about the same in the butter category. Pumpkin seeds, an ounce of pumpkin seeds, which is like a handful, gives you 7 grams of protein. So you got to be mixing and matching and getting all of that together and figuring it out so that you can get it in. There are protein powders that you might buy or make. I just made my own protein powder, or I'm in the process of making it and putting it all together. And that can be, if I sat down in the evening and I figure it out, I'm still 30 grams of protein short. I haven't, of everything that I've eaten today, I'm still short. The 100 grams of protein being the goal, the target, and you're around 70, you still got some more to go. That protein shake drink might get you over the top. But please make sure you factor in the amount of protein you're getting on a regular basis so that you're covering yourself. A can of tuna A 3-ounce can of tuna gives you 20 grams of protein. That might be mixed with some salad and stuff. That might be with some beans in it and all that kind of stuff might be enough to get you a good dose of protein. Are there any questions on that? Anybody got any feedback? Any?
No, you know what? I'm not mistaken. The tofu is coming from soy, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And I know that at one time, 'cause I used to drink a lot of soy milk, and maybe it wasn't in moderation, but I was drinking a lot. And other sisters was, but then they were finding out that too much soy also, excuse me, causing breast cancer. Did you know anything about that?
Know everything about that. I know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's. I'm very much up on my tofu and its relationship with estrogen and how they can mimic estrogens. There are things called pseudoestrogens, and tofu is in that category. It has estrogen-like activity. So if and again the theory being the reason breast cancer happens is because of an overabundance of estrogen, and they will do surgical procedures for it on a woman to remove their hysterectomy and have everything to stop the body from producing estrogen when they're treating them for breast cancer, because it's just that serious. So if you're eating things like or estrogens, pseudoestrogens, and there are a lot of things in that category, eating foods that are pseudoestrogens, then you're adding an external source of estrogen to your body that can also be a fuel for cancer cells to grow. So if it were me, I would seriously consider eating certainly younger women in that age group, and older women as well. I mean, I would put it certainly a lot of young women should limit their estrogen slash tofu type material consumption because of the relationship between that and cancer. Now, there are, of course, a lot of theories about it, but I know for a fact that tofu has in it estrogen-like compounds. There's no question about that. And whether or not they are actually tied into it, but there are certain types of cancer that are estrogen positive. They are estrogen receptor positive, and therefore estrogen can stimulate them to become cancerous. So are there any other questions on this particular item? The need to have protein, and I'm really serious. I mean, this is a passion. I'm passionate about the need for the Back to Health group to make sure that they are getting enough protein in their diets to make sure that they can be able to function.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a
Wa alaikum
question.
salam.
In reference to the peanut butter, I'm not sure. Is it true that a lot of the peanuts, especially the peanut, is considered GMO, genetically modified? And so is it good to to eat peanut butter because of that fact. I mean, no. What do you think?
GMO is another monster that we need to talk about, and maybe we'll have a session on that. I like to pick and choose the things that are important. There are, if I buy peanut butter, I would usually try to find the one that's organic. Now, organic does not mean that it's not GMO, but it's a very good likelihood that it is of the GMO, of the non-GMO type. But since like soybean, all soybeans are GMO. 100%, I would say 80 to 90% of the soybean that's grown in the world is GMO.
They say that
And
for corn
the
too.
same thing is, same thing with the corn.
Yeah.
Most of the corn that's being manufactured, grown in the world, is of the GMO type. And as I said, with peanut butter, a large percentage of the peanut butters that are being grown in the world, peanuts being grown in the world, are of the GMO type. It would make sense to kind of venture away from some of that. You can eat it in moderation. Everything in moderation, you're okay. But it's when you're doing things like you're emphasizing using peanuts as an alternative source of protein, and you're going to do that on a regular basis, then I would say you got to make sure that what you're eating and putting in is of the right thing. Now, can you determine whether or not the peanut butter you're buying on the shelf is GMO or not? More than likely you can't. But there are some manufacturers who are, and some places in the world that grows and manufacture things that are non-GMO type. But can you do that? I would say you have to try. You have to make the effort. And maybe that's where some research I'll do in coming weeks about who and where are the non-GMO products that you can find. Is that a deal?
I know, yeah, I know that there is, I don't know how fully trusted it can be, but most of the time, the little label on the fruit, if it begins with the number 4 and it's 4 numbers, that means it's genetically modified. And the way that they determine what is supposed to be organic, it starts with a number 9 and it's 5 numbers. And these are little stickers that they put on your fruits and vegetables when you buy them. So that's a code that they use supposedly. Again, you're not sure of the sources of the so-called organic, but that's what they use to determine what's organic and what's GMO by these little sticker numbers. If it begins with a 4 and it's 4 numbers, that means it's genetically modified. And if it's organic, I'm repeating, it starts with a 9 and it's usually 5 numbers.
Okay. Thanks for that information. That's important to know. That's vital information. Thanks for that.
Alhamdulillah.
Any other feedback on the proteins? Make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet every day. Does anybody have any problems with that? Okay.
No, but I think that for me, it explains why I always feel so tired.
Try it and see. This is a chart that tells you
I think
based on your weight.
sufficiently.
Uh-huh.
I said, for me, I think I've been warned sufficiently. I know a brother who talks to me about that all the time.
Okay. Next time you see him, tell him he did a good job.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
Okay. This is a breakdown of what a person needs, based on whether they are sedentary or whether they are active, the amount of protein your body requires. And it's also based on age as well. The older you get, the more this you need. But this is a good target that it says, and if you're 120, I'd like to kind of build it around the 175 to 200-pound range. That 100 grams of protein should be adequate, or is what you should be targeting for. And of course, if you weigh more than that, then you need to get your protein level up even a little bit more than that. And if somebody gets sick and goes to the hospital and they're lying in a bed every day, then they need to make sure they're getting the amount of protein they're supposed to be getting, because the hospital is not going to give it to them. They'll give you a little small piece of meat and this and that and the other, but your family needs to come in and make sure that you're getting protein, because when you're laying in a bed, your body will atrophy. You will lose muscle like crazy. Some people lose weight, but you will lose muscle because you're not using it. And if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So if you're getting it in on a regular basis, you're keeping your levels of protein up. Okay, Dad, you got to drink this shake now. We got to get this shake, and you got to get this Ensure. We got to give you this Ensure to make sure you get your protein. Thank God for children and grandchildren to help you as you get older to make sure you get your stuff together, or stay together. Make your Ensure every day. You buy your case of it. And sometimes you might need to have Ensure. Okay, these are the breakdown, the protein, tofu, and we just, knocks tofu and tempeh out of the ballpark because they are sources of protein. But are they the best or not? I tend to think not, but we need to consider them because some people might need to have them. And there are some ladies out there who may not be estrogen receptor positive, and therefore it wouldn't matter whether they ate tofu or not, because it's not going to affect them that way. But then there are a number of women that are, and a lot of African American women are estrogen receptor positive, and they need to watch the things that they're eating that are sources of estrogen into their body. This seitan is a protein that I don't know much about that. I don't know if I've really eaten that much of that stuff. But, it is a gluten, and for people who are gluten sensitive, are allergic to glutens, and if you were, you would know it by now. It can be a very debilitating, tiring experience. People get very exhausted when they're, sensitive to gluten, and they shouldn't be. But then stop eating bread. Stop eating the bread. That's gluten. And there are other things that are, but that's one of the main source of it. The nuts and seeds, definitely good sources. I would take walnuts over almonds, because almonds are known to contain they are known to contain, what's that
Oxalates.
word?
Oxalates.
Oxalates, yes. Oxalic acid. And they are bad for you. They will aggravate your arthritis. They will form kidney stones. They will literally wreak havoc with your body if you overdo it on the oxalates. So spinach, some of the cruciferous vegetables are oxalate loaded, and you have to watch them. Cooked spinach definitely is better than raw spinach in terms of the oxalate value. The chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds are all good protein sources that you can eat loads of. The edamame is another young soybean. So again, and then that's definitely a GMO product. So watch out for that. Then we have Greek yogurt, 20 grams of protein per serving, I think, 8-ounce serving of Greek yogurt gives you 20 grams of protein. All of the different kinds of cheeses, sources of protein. Protein powder, you figure out the one that is good for you, but you should find a good source of protein powder that you like and utilize it. And if you can't make your own, then buy one. The egg whites, good sources of protein. We mentioned that 2 eggs was equivalent to 12 grams of protein. Nutritional yeast, not too many of us are hip to nutritional yeast. We aren't doing that like we used to, like we should be. I used to make some kale chips, dehydrate them, and one of the toppings or things that you put on the kale chips was nutritional yeast with some salt and some spices and everything. And I got addicted to those things. They were really, really good. So keep that under consideration. I'm changing the name keto for our presentation because a lot of people seem to respond or react to the name or the word keto as being bad. And maybe it does connote some things that people don't understand. And it has gotten a bad reputation over the years by some of the medical establishment people, because keto is that word, that process. Keto is not a food. It's not a substance. It is a action that takes place inside of the body. It is a metabolic process that goes on inside of the body, where your body takes something like fat and converts it into ketones. That's all it is. That's what ketosis means. Now, there are those of us who react to the idea of eating fat or having a diet that is rich in fat. And so that's going to, the medical establishment has made fat a bad thing. It outlawed. I mean, one of the doctors, many, many years ago, really changed the whole medical establishment by outlawing cholesterol. Cholesterol became the bad word. You gotta watch. You can't eat eggs. You can't do this. You can't drink milk. So they had fat-free. They had all of because they thought cholesterol was the culprit. And a lot of people still think that it is. A lot of you think that cholesterol is the problem. The problem is not cholesterol per se. I mean, it has this, anything used in excess can be bad, but the problem is the sugar. Nobody ever said that the sugar, all of that sugar you're eating is bad. You know, that it's like we've made that eating desserts into a religion. You know, you gotta have the desserts. You gotta, you know, every occasion we get together. Where's the pie? Where's the cake? Where's the soda? I mean, where's all of the sugar stuff? We made that into a religion. So, I mean, why can't we make cholesterol into a religion? I mean, ketones. The fact that cholesterol is not the issue here. So we need to really watch the definition. So as I said, I'm converting the term keto into healthy. Healthy, so we aren't going to talk about keto recipes. We're going to talk about healthy recipes here. Okay, so the keto, I mean, I can't change what the manufacturer or these are from YouTube. I can't go in and re-edit that out, you know. But for my purpose, I want to try and change my use of the word to be healthy rather than keto, because we're talking about health here. We're not talking about things that are going to make you sick. We're talking about things that are going to get you well. So what are the meats that you can eat on a healthy diet? Well, all of them, I mean, the meats that are, every meat that animal probably out there. They don't have bear on here, and they don't have some of the other meats, but all of the beef, the lamb, the veal, the bison, the venison, turkey, chicken, organ meat, the heart, the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, all of that you can eat. You can also eat in moderation. Well, they don't say here moderation, but I suggest if you're going to eat processed meats, that you would eat them in moderation. Don't eat them on an everyday basis, like beef bacon and turkey bacon, beef and turkey sausage, chicken skins and beef and turkey jerky. All of those things are loaded with nitrites and nitrates, and those are bad. Those are implicated in cancer as well. So you need to be able to limit your consumption of that stuff. I'm not saying don't eat it at all, because I do. I'll have you can get the taste for bacon in the morning with your eggs. You can't eat eggs by themselves every day. I can some days, but some days, okay. I mean, have a sausage, beef sausage or turkey bacon, and what have you. Those are all good. And of course, the fish in the ocean, all good. I have a personal dislike for tilapia, but some people may not. And I'm in favor of things from the ocean as opposed to things that are being farmed and sent to you at your dinner table. There are issues about farmed, raised foods, certainly fish that are definitely not good because they're loaded with a lot of bad stuff. I mean, the fishes are eating the droppings from other fish, and this is just be careful. And the seafood, the shrimps, the scallops, oysters, lobsters, and calamari. There are some fish, some seafoods that are classified as scavengers, so you have to be careful with that. And if you notice, Catfish is not one of the fish that's listed here because catfish is considered a scavenger fish. So limit your intake of that. I'm not going to say for those catfish lovers out there not to eat it, but be moderate in your intake of it because scavengers are scavengers. They eat everything that comes their way. And there are dairies, things that you certainly can eat, take part in. Heavy cream. I made the best whipped cream the other day with some strawberry toppings and blueberries. No, I didn't have raspberries. I wanted the blueberries, but the raspberries and the whipped cream. Oh man, that was so good. That was the first day of my keto diet. But you know, that's something you know, take the whipping cream, you buy it and you whip it up and get that whipped cream from that. Good stuff. And that's good to eat. That's okay. Cream cheeses are good to have. So anyone that wants to make a cheesecake can make a cheesecake and enjoy that. We're deficient here in Morocco for being able to get cottage cheese. So I'm trying to figure out a way to buy enough fresh farm raised milk that I can make some cottage cheese from that because I do have a desire some days to have cottage cheese with something. And there's a cottage cheese bread that is can be made, using cottage cheese that I want to try. And the fats, the animal-based fats are the butter, the tallow, beef tallow, and the ghee. Those are all usable, desirable. And the fat-based, plant-based carb foods, all things from the plant-based kingdom are carbs by definition. And getting the leafy green, and the ones on the left-hand side seem to be the ones that are lowest in carb value. So the leafy green, the artichoke, asparagus, bean sprouts, bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, celery. Eat all of that stuff you want. It's loaded with nutritional value. Green beans and kale, spinach, kohlrabi leeks, mushrooms, loads of mushrooms. In Morocco, they only have one kind of mushroom that I found so far. Maybe there are others, but they only got this champion mushroom here. I don't know what that's about. But, you know, I get mushrooms in sometimes based on that. Okra, good to have. Onions and garlic, peppers, radish. You know, peas. No peas, a little high in sugar content, but again, we're talking about vegetables. And you know, you want to get as much of them in as you possibly can. And we went through the nuts already, but there are a few more here. The hazelnuts are good. Macadamias, these are going right from the top down to the bottom in terms of the high fat content. I think macadamias are probably the highest in fat, but pecans are fatty. Brazil nuts are good. Brazil nuts are your source of selenium. So if you ate 3 Brazil nuts a day, you've gotten your quota of selenium in for the day. So you know, three Brazil nuts is all you need to get your selenium. And you need selenium in. And of course, we went through all of the seeds over here and the nut butters. Sunflower seed butter is not used a lot. Macadamia nut butter is even rare. It's probably a lot more expensive, but nut butters are good to have, good sources of fat as well as protein. Low carb foods, the meats, again, went through those already. And we went through that. Okay. Fruit now. Fruit is in terms of what is healthy rated. Things that are not high in a lot of sugar that can affect your body in a way that is negative. Avocado is a fruit, so you can eat as much avocado as your body can tolerate. Coconut, lemons and limes and olives, those are really in the category unto themselves. But the other fruit would become the berries, all of the berries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and what have you, poison berries. What's the other one? Anyway, cantaloupe, honeydew, kiwi, cantaloupe, honeydew, and watermelon they're loaded with sugar. So when you eat them, eat this portion control. You probably won't be, in order to satisfy your need, you probably need to eat a big piece, but to stay in what they call your body is producing ketones, and so that you can stay in that state, then you want to limit the amount that you would eat or not eat it at all. Kiwi is what they call a keto-friendly, healthy-friendly fruit, so you can eat kiwi, as well as all of the berries. We talked about the dairy and the berries and all of that. And we've covered this. I didn't mention dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is a healthy fat. It's got good stuff in it, and you should be eating dark chocolate on a regular basis. If not every day, you should be trying to get it in as often as you can, because dark chocolate will help your body to produce stem cells. And you need stem cells. We all need to have stem cells. So if you ate a small piece of dark chocolate, not the sweeties, sugary Hershey bar type, but the ones that are, low, like 80% cacao chocolate, will be sufficient. You can also use the cocoa powder in a beverage, a milk, almond milk, coconut milk, regular milk, and get a nice beverage out of that, and get your dose of chocolate in that way. That's the thing here. I don't know why I kept this slide in here. The foods that I wish I had never eaten in my life, but I had no control when I was younger over eating margarine and shortening. They were there, but since I've been an adult, at one point in time, I bought more margarine than I bought butter, because Country Crock, that's what we were taught. We were taught that margarine is good for you. Margarine, when it's cheap, okay, it is cheap, so we bought margarine like galore. It was on sale. You bought 2 big tubs for a couple of dollars, and you were set for a month. And on toast, margarine, with butter, no one used butter. Very few people of us use butter, because we didn't do it. Instant vegetable puddings, bad stuff. I'm growing to know that now. I didn't know that then. So I eat my share of, instant puddings, fruit cups, jellos, all of that stuff. It had my share of Mountain Dew, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, RC Cola, all of that. I had all of that loads of stuff, as well as all of the other ones here, Fruit Loops, Dorito. Oh my goodness. I would never get on the road without having a bag of potato chips or Doritos or something by my side to keep me awake so I can munch on something while I'm driving. And a popcorn. You know, I used to make a combination of potato chips, popcorn, and corn chips. And Doritos, if Doritos were, they were a little more expensive than some of the other corn chips, but gives you a good blend of texture and taste that was like perfect for the road. Whenever I drove on the road, I always had that with me. Keeps you awake for hours. And then, of course, the mayonnaise and all of the other things that are there. If I look back on my life now, I kind of wish that I wouldn't have eaten all of that stuff. And certainly not to the degree that I did, because I certainly feel that my health today is a reflection of how much of that stuff I consumed. That's it. Let me see if I can play this. These are the secret ingredients in foods that we don't know about. Hope this doesn't take me through the. Yeah, it's going to do it. Let me just see if I can speed it up here. Anyway, let me move on. I'll put this up on the chat for you to view in your leisure.
Jamil, in the chat for the the next 10 days, or we haven't actually finished the keto yet, but the 10 days that we're supposed to do the plan. I need a menu because I don't know too much about making healthy choices with plants diet.
You mean after we pass the keto, for the plant-based eating, you want to have a menu or a recipe guide? Consider it done.
Give us a heads up if you sort of plan that diet.
But Fatima, that's she does that every day. So the show.
Only thing I had the plan. I like hot foods more so than a lot of eating salads all day or fruits all day,
Mm-hmm.
which
I have seen.
a lot of.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I ask her.
Yeah, I've seen some vegetarian dishes that are really off the chart. I can't wait to get and try some of them. You know, it's they're just like mouth watering, just seeing how they look and how some of them are prepared. Just oh man, it's good stuff. But like you just said, I'm glad you introduced that it requires planning. The healthy way of eating requires planning, that you just cannot get up during the day and say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z because you don't have the ingredients. You don't have what you need. You gotta make sure you go out and buy the things you need to that day to make the menu that you want to make. So you sit down and plan it out. Say tomorrow I'm going to have such and such and such. Then you make sure you buy the ingredients for that. So when you can do it, you may not have 100%. You can improvise a little bit, but you need to have the basic stuff on board. And sometimes you may want to make things in batches so you can have it for a few days. Certainly you got something that you really, really, really like, and you want to, they don't want to eat it every 2-3 days in a row, but you want to eat it today, and I'm going to freeze it away in a portion size so that by Thursday or Friday, I can have that same thing again,
Okay.
Because it was that good, so that's what planning allows you to do. And when you're planning, you plan to make things in batches. You might want to have cook 2 or 3 meals at one time so that you don't have to cook every day. You can just warm it up. Not in the microwave. Don't nuke it anymore. I don't know how many of everybody using microwaves these days or not, but those are not good anyway. So, and incorporate international flavors. You need to make things taste good. It's got the flavor there. It'll make you want to come back for more and make it again and do something else like that has the flavors there. But food without flavor is like a day without sunshine. Anyway, healthy alternatives. Sometimes we need to substitute things or have things available for us to have, or to change things rather than cooking with regular flour, using almond flour. The healthy way of cooking is not to use regular flour, which is sugar. Okay, whenever you make gravy and you dump the flour into it, you're basically adding sugar to it. And you're going to get the result of that. And that's will affect you. So you can use almond flour and coconut flour instead of the wheat flour. You can use zucchini noodles and shiitake noodles instead of pasta noodles. So there are things you can switch up every once in a while rather than the old-fashioned ones that are loaded with, or basically eating a form of sugar. Sweet treats, there are things that you can eat that will satisfy your sweet tooth, like the keto-friendly desserts, the one that I just mentioned. Creating some whipped cream from heavy cream or whipping cream, and then add some berries to it and eat that. You can add stevia or some other monk fruit or allulose sugar to it to give it a sweeter taste. But you can make alternative desserts that are as sweet and as good as the regular stuff. I made some cheesecake that came out very good. And the crust of it was made out of almond flour. They got recipes all over the internet for the healthy, friendly, alternative dough crust that you can make. The mindful snacking, be careful when you're eating stuff that you got around you, things that you can eat that are healthy, that you can reach for, and you know that they're going to be able to supply. Like I got a container of nuts that I keep, some walnuts and some almonds that I can take out and snack on if I get munchy while I'm sitting here at the computer. I spend a lot of time at the computer, so for me, I said maybe 3, 4, 5 hours a day sitting here creating stuff. So I need to have things nearby that are good like that. And also, you can make your own homemade healthy snacks. The fat bombs, which are little balls that are made out of cream cheese and healthy fats with coconut and chocolate and all of that stuff added in. And sometimes you get hungry, you can grab one of these fat bombs, they call them, and eat one of them. And it's like eating a dessert. Some of them are like, they have the names of cheesecake, all kind of chocolate thunder, all kinds of stuff like that are definitely delicious. You can enjoy them. Will satisfy your need for having sweet stuff, the other bad sweet stuff. And the cheeses and the healthy snacks you can have in your refrigerator, cheese and avocados, and of course, I mentioned the nuts. Boiled eggs always on hand, handy on hand. So if you do get hungry, you can go and grab, eat that. Having olives in the refrigerator or in a container on the table so that you can eat them. Cold cuts may also come in handy sometimes. You can take a piece of lettuce, a slice of cheese, and some of these cold cut type options, and you can make a sandwich right there on the spot. 2 minutes, you're done. Second here.
So that's doing the plant. Do I have to doing the next plant we can make beans and so forth? Because beans is something I can make. I can have it 2 or 3 days.
With the plant-based things, yeah, beans are any kind of beans, as much beans as you want, are a part of plant-based. When we get to that, you get to get your plant bean thing on.
Go back to my pinto beans.
Pinto beans, no restrictions. When we get to plant-based, the
Good.
bean sky is the limit.
That's good. For the beans, you could do 2 or 3 days. Okay. Maybe I'll ask Fatima. I don't know if she's doing it yet. I don't know if she worked yet, but maybe she can post a couple of menus, because she does have some really good menus.
Be good. That would be very good.
Yeah. But this raw milk, right from the farm, one of my grandsons, Fatima's son, he drinks that a lot. And now with this bird flu that's spreading to animals, you have to be careful with that. At least
Can you say that again?
World.
Can you repeat that?
No, I was saying that drinking milk straight from the cow right now, because of the bird flu, it could be a little dangerous. At least on this side, because now they're finding the bird flu is spreading to animals as well as human beings.
Yes. That's it. Right now, it seems to be centered in America. Well, I won't say that. I'll take that back. I know they're talking about it more in America. And you know, I mean, there could be a two-edged sword. I don't know what that really means, but
No.
it's something where I think we need to be on the alert for, and I am definitely watching the dairy that we're taking in. And certainly if you're drinking raw milk straight from the cow, then you definitely have to be on the lookout, on the alert.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm trying to think.
Well, Harun asked about the recording of the presentation will be made available. Inshallah, I will do everything possible. I've been working on this for like literally weeks, and I think I'm working on a system that can help me to get this resolved once and for all. Being able to take this presentation and PDF it to the point where I can make it into an MP3 and make it available to everyone. So I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to that.
Jazakallah khairan, very, very beneficial information. So I appreciate it much and would love to share it for those who may want to benefit. May Allah reward you. I mean,
Inshallah, shukran, Aki.
for
Water is something I know I don't need to talk about this today because I talk about this every week. Every opportunity that I get, that water is so vital to your body's need to have and to function the way in which it's supposed to. A lot of the headaches and the aches and elevated blood sugars, all of these things are because we're not hydrated properly. Not to mention the fact that your blood thickens up when you don't give it enough water, and you don't want to have thick blood. I mean, you're just asking for disaster. So how much water is needed? They say between 1.5 to 2 liters of water a day. So we ought to be getting the water down. You know, whether you add the lemon and the cucumber to it or hibiscus or whatever you put in your water to drink it, get it down. I encourage or ask to drink that 1 cup of warm water in the morning. Before you do anything, before you drink anything else, you should have that cup of warm water with lemon or anything else you want to add to it. If you add, I'm putting the hibiscus in there with the water and the lemon, and that's my beverage in the morning. The first thing after I don't know if anybody's onto the thing called pulling or not. Anybody do pulling?
Pudding?
Pulling, P-U-L-L-I-N-G.
No, what is it?
That's where you take some oil, like a coconut oil or sesame oil, and you put it in your mouth and you swish it around between your teeth, you just get all the bacteria that you've incubated overnight out of your mouth and you spit it out.
Actually, I
Okay.
used to do that. I never knew what it was called, pulling. I think I still have coconut in my medicine cabinet in the bathroom. I guess I better go back to it.
You should do that every night because
water
all the
is very
bacteria from
important.
the food that you ate the night before, and some people don't brush their teeth before they go to bed. So you got all of that food in your mouth, incubating. And when you get up in the morning, what do? Some of us drink water, and you're washing all of that bacteria down your stomach.
Oh.
You don't want to do that. I mean, if you've been doing it, If you've been doing it, then stop. Get it out first. I mean, if you put water in your mouth and swish it around and it out, it cleans some of the stuff, but the oil, it will pull it out of your gums, between your teeth. It'll get it out of there, and then just spit it out, and then rinse your mouth, and then drink the hot water with whatever you want to put in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for the past 2 months, or I think a month and a half, at least a month and a half, I've been doing that every day. It's like for me, once I get a routine going, I just go straight. Nothing stops me from doing it. It's part of me.
I have
Even when
How
I'm fasting,
long?
I know now I get up. First thing I do this and I do that. It condenses the time. It gets, I'm going to do the pulling, then I'm going to do the warm water, and then I'm going to do what I'm going to have for fasting for breakfast. Whether it be sardines. If this is a can of sardines, that's easy. You just open that up, put it on a plate, some butter, and you're done. And a cup of coffee or tea, and that's it. So I got my routine down. I'm ready for Ramadan. So I know how to do Ramadan now.
How
Because
long do
I'm
you do the
doing it
pulling
all,
for?
doing this can of sardines. I know sardines gets me through the day. I don't have to worry when I'm fasting on sardines. I don't get hungry. I don't get that, what do you call it? It doesn't affect me now. And of course, the electrolytes in the water, put a little pinch of salt in your water every day. You're getting the sodium, the potassium, and you need the magnesium. Everybody out there is not taking magnesium every day. You're missing out on one of the key nutrients that your body needs to have. Some of you were taking it last year. You did it then. You got off of the wagon. You didn't think your body needs it. When was the last time you had a cramp in your leg? You were doing something and you got that cramp, your Charlie horse. Anybody having cramps? Had cramps lately?
No.
No? Good. That's good. That's good.
Yesterday I didn't drink. I was just seeing how really important that water is. Because yesterday I don't know what I was doing. I just say maybe I had maybe 4 glasses of water yesterday. But yesterday
Mm-hmm.
night, when you were saying you should test your sugar before going to bed, I couldn't hardly get my blood. I had to like squeeze and squeeze. Then I had to drink some water to finally that I had the drop of blood that I needed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was saying, wow, I really got to do better today.
It's serious business. Serious business. I just have the same problem. You do the Lancet, you prick your finger to get the blood, and you got to like press for like 2 minutes before you get a drop of blood come out. I mean, some of it's because it's colder outside. If it's cold, your blood is like closer to your body. It's closer inside. It's not out under your fingertips like it's supposed to be. But you get your hydration level up, then it'll get better. It won't be as much. And for those of us or you that are having any kind of problems with the high blood pressure and all of that, you need to take the baby aspirin every day. You need to take the baby aspirin every day because that's going to help to thin out your blood a little bit, and that will help things to flow like they're supposed to. You got to watch the strokes, man. You got to watch the strokes because they are just laying in their cut, waiting for you to drop your guard, and it comes up there and grabs you. So watch your water intake. Take the baby aspirin every day to keep everything flowing like it's supposed to. Am I clear?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brother Jamil, I just need to ask you a couple of things, a three-part question. First, Brother
Yes.
Haroon was trying to ask you how long you should leave oil swooshing in your mouth. And my understanding from what I've known from years is that you should leave it in there for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Is that not correct?
I would say 5 to 10 minutes would be good. I mean, if you really do it vigorous, I mean, you just don't, I mean, you can leave it in there for 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. But if you really squish it like you're cleaning your mouth between your teeth, just squish it, then 5 to 10 minutes is fine.
And what would be the value? Would 1 teaspoon be enough or half a teaspoon?
I would say 1 teaspoon is good. 1 teaspoon is good.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
All right. And my other part question
I think I did.
And I'm going to be short. Okay. My other short part question is, we talked about, I know you commented on inflammation in the body, and I wanted to ask you, what is more, direct in terms of approaching inflammation, what ingredients is better? Because there's always those things prescribed by doctors that a lot of times, for me, I fight against, in the sense that, different meds do different things to you. But besides turmeric, besides cayenne, what are some other things? This is a two-part question. Last question is black seed oil or black seed. We know that in our deen, as it is mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, that black seed oil is a cure for everything except for death. What is the ingredients of black seed oil that you know of, that what is the benefits of, specifically some of the great benefits of black seed oil in terms of nutrition, in terms of things? Have you ever been able to break that down?
That's a book. When you said for that last question, the black seed oil, the beneficial effects of taking black seed oil is a book. It would take me for too long to mention it, but you asked one question was, what is the active ingredient inside of black seed oil that gives it all of this power?
Correct.
It's something called thymolquinone. It's a thymolquinone. It's a chemical that is extremely beneficial to the body and to the functioning of all of the factors that go on with inside of the body. Inflammation, I'm saying the negative things. It's an anti-inflammatory, anti-viral, you can go on and on and on. It's loaded with beneficial values. And I think I've talked about this many, many times. And again, I'm not to take away from your question, but I will, and I can't do it all right now because it's just that much. One of the friends of mine that I buy black seed oil from here in Morocco is he wrote a book on the beneficial effects of black seed oil. And I'll share some of that with you, not the book itself, because he didn't publish it. So it's not available for the marketplace yet, but I will share with you as much information about it as I can and share with you whatever information that I've already researched about it and give you the benefits of my experience with using it. But okay. I don't only feel that black seed oil is the main thing. I feel that the black seed is the main thing. So if you're doing the black seed, you're getting full spectrum protection because the things that are not taken out of the oil that are in the seed. So if you have the habit of chewing black seed oil during the course of the day, and probably it's best to do it in the morning, then you will get beneficial effects of it that way. Also, if you made black seed tea by grinding up some black seed and putting it in water, then you're going to get out of it the water soluble ingredients, healthful ingredients that are in the black seed that you can consume that way in the water. So
Okay.
when we say black seed, we're talking about something that is so broad and expansive that I couldn't talk about it all today. It's just that much information about it. Like I said, books have been written about it. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, like you said, if it is a cure for every illness except for death. In the black seed is a cure for every illness except for death. So,
Shukran. Shukran. I wanted to ask just this last thing because I wanted to be short in this. The other things beside black seed oil that I think you mentioned 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago about inflammatory fighters. What other things, real quick,
yes.
and I don't go along with that, just a quick 60 seconds if you can, just throw out some things, whether it's herbs or whatever, that can be very helpful in terms of fighting inflammation in the body. And again, I want you to, if you can, because of respect for everybody else that's participating, I don't want to hold this conversation long.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Brother
well,
Julio, allow me to jump in momentarily. And I just want to add to what you said and what the brother is trying to understand. Bottom line is black seed in all of its forms builds the immune system.
Alhamdulillah.
It fights the immune system. So, you know, to ask the question, what properties is in it that blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired our prophet, and he said that it is a cure for everything except death, which means, bottom line, that it stimulates the immune system. And that's the takeaway we need to have from black seed oil. It builds the immune system, and the immune system, when it's strong, it can fight anything and everything. So I just wanted to add that black seed, no need to break down what's in it. The need is to understand that it builds the immune system and it fights everything.
Amen. Yes. Yes. But to go along with what he just mentioned, things that are anti-inflammatory is just, again, that's another category of things that is extensive. And if we looked at all of the things like green, we mentioned that you said the turmeric and the ginger, you know about those. Right. But in addition to that, you've got garlic, onion, hold on 1 second, let me just, he's calling me a Don now. Okay. One of the most, one of the most anti-inflammatory herbs on the planet is something called boswellia, and that's called frankincense. Frankincense is the parent, is the tree from which, or the Boswellia serrata is the tree name that it comes from. But frankincense is the resin from which they extract the Boswellia from that is used. So if you have frankincense that you bought, I mean, real frankincense. Now, it doesn't. That there are some knockoffs and some imitations out there that look the same way, and they might smell like frankincense, but they are not. But if you got the real stuff, you can put it in water and drink it. You know, let it dissolve, and drink it, and you got the anti-inflammatory ingredient. Now, I know you can go to health food stores and buy Boswellia as a capsule or a tablet or however they're dispensing it. But that is one of the most anti-inflammatory substances. You can also use frankincense oil. I buy a good quality frankincense oil here, and you can massage with the oil, and that goes into your skin. But if you got joint pain, then you can use the oil as a rub for that. The other one is, I mentioned green tea. Cinnamon can be used as a anti-inflammatory agent. Then you get the essential oils like rosemary and thyme. And there's also something called ashwagandha that is anti-inflammatory. A whole category of things called adaptogens, like ginseng and things like that. But ashwagandha is one of those adaptogens. They call that, I think, Indian ginseng, ashwagandha is. So you got devil's claw is another one that is used a lot for treating pain. You can take that as a tablet, or you can use it as a rub. And something that recently I came across, I'm not sure we talked about castor oil. Castor oil can be used on the body, inside of the body, on top of the body, in the hair, in the ear, in the navel. It's all around. But if you can find the castor oil leaves, in Morocco, they are everywhere. I can go and probably get a ton of castor oil leaves today if I wanted to, because the plant is everywhere. But you can make a poultice out of the castor oil leaf and apply that to parts of the body that are in pain, and it will reduce the pain. Okay?
And they like, yes. And the other thing is, why do many people, or some science says that putting olive oil, rubbing your feet, rubbing olive oil on your feet for 2 minutes or whatever every night does a certain thing to your body. What is your knowledge of that?
Well, I'm not too into much on the olive oil, but I know castor oil is something they use topically on the feet, because the feet is rich in blood vessels, and it will allow things to be absorbed. And when they're absorbed in through the feet, they will then go throughout the body.
Okay. Shukran.
And also,
Again,
from the Chinese perspective, is that all of the meridians in the body end up in the feet. You have them in the hands and different parts, but most of the meridians will originate in the feet and go to different parts of the body. So if you are trying to cure things and treat things, if you do it from the feet using pressure points, acupressure points and what have you, and oils and topically and things like that, it works. I'll give you a story. I had I know of someone who had a major stroke, paralyzed in a coma. Okay? My research said if you used there are 4, I think 6 different oils that are supposed to, that will allow the body or work on the blood circulation and the blood's ability to travel in capillaries and in arteries and veins, capillaries and veins. By rubbing the oil on the person's feet, okay, rubbing it on their feet allowed the oil to penetrate, and the person came out of the coma, came out of the stroke, and is now, the last report I saw him exercising on a bicycle in a gym. So I know from the personal experience, or not experience, I didn't do this. I just only said, this is what I have researched, and this is what happens. And it happened. So are the feet key to applying and healing the body? Yes.
Shukran, and Sister Abdullah, Wali, thank you as well for following up with a message. All right, Brother Jamil.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Jamil, that's called empirical evidence. The science system wants us to have thousands and thousands of people that we've done this with, that, and now we can say, okay, this works. But the reality is, your experience that you're sharing here, that's enough to prove that it works. That's called empirical evidence. Like, so for example, if I, as a mother, if I do this with my child and it works, then that's proof that it works. That's empirical evidence. That's enough for me. I'm not part of the scientific BS system. And so we appreciate you sharing your empirical evidences that these things work. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. This is a very important.
And while it's quiet, let me just say, could you go back to your last slide, please? I don't think we can repeat this enough. Like you said, a lot of your sessions are repeat information, but that's what we need. It's like reminders benefit the believers. Repeat, repeat, repeat. You cannot repeat enough that we need to stay hydrated. Staying hydrated needs to be on repeat. We know it, but we have to remind ourselves to stay continually engaged in it. So I've asked you to come back to this just so that we remind ourselves, stay hydrated, stay hydrated, stay hydrated. I can't say it enough. And with our children, you know, we need to make this a habit, because I notice amongst my grandchildren that they always go into the fridge for something to drink. And we don't have something for them to drink. So we have a tendency to resort to corner store juices, grocery store juices and things like that. But we need to make hydration on repeat. And I lately, what I did was I took some fruit, some star fruit. We blended it up. We added that to lots of water. I added some honey to it, and I made a big batch of liquids so that when they come to get something to drink, there was plenty of that available, as opposed to the store-bought drinks. We have got to get away from store-bought drinks. We have got to get away from that. We have got to use lemons, real fruits, and make lots of that and stay hydrated, because people are not going to drink enough water. They're just not going to drink enough. But if we take the fruits, blend a little fruit, add some honey if we need it, add some stevia if we need it, but we need to stay hydrated. And so I'm saying for myself and everybody, we have to stay hydrated. We have to keep staying hydrated on repeat. The body is what, 80% water? We have to keep
Yes.
that water refreshed, hydrate. And so, Dr. Jamil, thank you for your reminders.
Okay. Remind, yes. And it says, when you're not hydrated, your body tells you. It makes you thirsty. So it says, if you listen to your body when it whispers, get up and get some water. Stand up. Move. You won't have to hear it when it screams. And believe me, you do not want your body to scream. You do not want that to happen. So you got to really change your attitude so that your altitude can be better. Did I say that right? So we talk about keto a lot. So everybody is into the keto. You've got the menus and everything that you need. And what we're going to be doing starting on Friday or Saturday, I think. Friday or Saturday is starting with a plant-based eating. And you will have some information already, but I'll send you some additional recipes and menu options that you can try for the for the plant-based eating session. This one I'm looking forward to because it kind of allows you to drop your guard on the things that keto says you don't eat much of, like the beans and I'm not going to do the potatoes, so don't even look at me for that. But maybe a sweet potato here and there. Might try that. But there are no restrictions regarding. There's no restriction regarding what you can eat on the plant-based eating except meat. This doesn't allow for meat. And I'm not sure about dairy or not. But I think if it's something from the animal, then that's probably restricted. But we'll find out. We'll know. So all of the plant-based things you can muster, we're gonna be into it.
Quick question,
we-
Dr. Jamil.
Yes.
The 6 oils that you mentioned that facilitated the brother that you mentioned, are you able to share those, please?
What I'll do is I will put the report that I circulated up on the chat, hopefully today, because I want to make that's recent information, and you're asking about it, so I will make sure that it's available to you. But the entire report explaining all of the background behind it, rather than just giving you the names of the oils, but all of that information I will make available to you.
I need to be added to the chat then. I guess I was invited to this Zoom by my beloved brother Ali. So I definitely would like to get the link to get added to the chat.
All right. If he can, if your brother, whoever invited you, can do that, or send me a text, I will add you to it, and you will get it. If not, you can send me your email information, and I can send it to you that way.
I'll do that right now. Shukran.
Okay.
He's on WhatsApp.
Oh yes.
Harun,
Okay.
you can send that request on WhatsApp, Harun.
Okay.
I will do.
Okay. My pleasure.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question.
Yes.
Can you tell me what is in your turmeric shot that you take every day?
Okay. It has a turmeric and ginger. And I add to it either big clove of garlic or a small, 2 small cloves of garlic. And I kind of have a garlic press that I squeeze them out of. You get the little squeegee things that come out.
Mm-hmm.
Then it has lemon.
Oh.
I put a grapefruit in it this time, or half of a grapefruit, just the juice of a grapefruit, and some apple cider vinegar, and black pepper and cayenne.
Wow.
Now,
And, please type that
I've
in
been
the chat.
talking about my ultimate tonic, ultimate health tonic, and I've presented it in the group many times, but it has in it 11 herbs, as well as and all of the ones that are in there are either anti-inflammatory, anti fungal, antibacterial, anti it's loaded with nutritional value. So what I do is when I have that, I like to have it warm rather than cold. And I make the tonic and I put it into small bottles and I put it in the refrigerator to keep it, because I'm going to use it all week. And I put it on a pot and put some warm water in it, or put it on the stove and I like warm it up. But I put into it a half of a teaspoon of my ultimate herbal tonic. And that's like loaded with stuff. And
So
that gives you, it's like, today I feel great.
I bet you do. That sounds very powerful.
It is. It's like hard to imagine. It's hard to explain even. It has a little bit of black seed in there, but it's got the turmeric, the herbal tonic, or the herbal ultimate health tonic has in it the boswellia, as well as the spirulina, cinnamon, dark chocolate, and something else. But I've been taking this for like the better part of a year, every day, because it's the thing that when I mentioned before, when your colon is being rebuilt every 5 days, like every week you're getting a new set of cells in your gut, your stomach lining, all of that is the nutritional value that helps to build a good solid colon, that you don't have problems with indigestion and gas and stuff because your gut has got holes in it. So, I haven't shared that information with some of you here in this group, in this session, but I will make that information available to you as well. But the information on the essential oils for blood conditions will be posted up there today, inshallah.
I have one more question.
Yes.
With this shot, with your turmeric and your ginger, are you using fresh turmeric and ginger? Are you blending it? Are you grating it? With it? I'm sorry. How is it fresh, or How do you do this?
with the fresh. I like
Blender?
using fresh, but it requires too much work. Fresh garlic and fresh ginger, and I put it in a blender, and I
Okay.
put all of everything in there, and I blend it up, and then I strain it when it's done.
Okay.
But some days I just don't have the energy to do all of that. It's not that energy; it's just
Yeah.
some
You
days
have
you
the
just don't
powder.
feel like doing it like that. So the powder makes it easy, so I can
Yeah.
like hook it up in no time at all.
Gotcha.
And really, the difference between um, the powder and the fresh is not that great for me. Okay, for me, because when I go to the store to buy it, I'm buying the dried, fresh dried ginger. It comes out like little fingers, nubs. And I'd have them grind it up for me. So I'm getting like the freshest of the fresh ground ginger and turmeric.
Mm.
So, if I'm using the powder here in Morocco, it's not as I'm not losing that much. Some of the ones that, again, if you're buying the what's the brand in the U.S. the best, the one at the Walmart, that's something. Or maybe you're going to go to Walmart, but whatever those ones that come on the shelf. Already ground up and you buy them at the spice section of the supermarket. Um, those are all of the spices and herbs are irradiated with radiation in order so that bugs don't grow in them. I'm not sure if all of you knew that or not.
Wow. No.
Yeah, just like the milk.
Mm.
Here they don't refrigerate milk here in Morocco. All the milk is, well, they do have some milks in the refrigerator section, but that's the small one. The big milk display is in the middle of the floor in the stores.
What was that? Could you please repeat that about what you mentioned about Walmart? What was that?
I was trying to think of the name of the brand of spices that Walmart sell. It's best something, the
Just
name brand, but they're all of their spices and stuff that they stock in, on their shelves is all irradiated, as well as what's the one that's considered organic?
Mm.
Got a lot of stuff, man.
So,
Wow.
their brand or all the brands? Great Value, I think, is their brand, but
Almost, I want to say all brands, and I can't do that, but the vast majority of the brands of spices that you buy in supermarkets have all been irradiated.
Lord, man.
Yeah, so I mean, that's like a two-edged sword. It killed the bugs that are in there, so bugs don't grow in it. But we don't know what else has been altered with radiation and stuff. So we have to assume that it's not harmful to us. But we in America, you cannot assume very much these days. Things are different. I'm running up against the clock here. Within, I think, about 5 minutes, the the Zoom is going to kick off. So we'll have to pick this up next week. where we left off at. And does anyone have any further questions that I can answer before we get kicked off of the some chats?
Thank you. Thank you for all
Certainly,
this.
my pleasure. Dan Fleming, baby.
You've done an excellent job. We really appreciate you. May Allah bless you.
Mashallah, shukran, shukran. I'm at
Ameen.
your service. I do all of this to provide you with information because I want people to be as healthy as you can possibly get. I mean, we only get to do this one time here.
Anyway,
Go this way one time, so we gotta try and get the best out of it, inshallah.
anyway, shukran.
Okay.
During the week.
All right, will do. Yes, indeed.
Appreciate everything.
So everyone, until next week, we get together. Assalamu alaikum. Have a wonderful week.
Shukran.
Inshallah. Inshallah. I couldn't understand your voice was a little distorted there, but inshallah. And I'm working on the audio portion of this to get this available to everyone. Thank you so much.
Jazakallah khair. Wa alaikum salam to everybody.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, shukran, uncle.
Wa alaikum salam. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Good.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Be well. Thank you.
Indeed. Okay.
You need to lecture mommy on
I
excessive.
know. I
use.
told her last night.
Okay, good.
I got you.
All right, alhamdulillah. Inshallah, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. All right.
All right.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.